They say you never truly know someone until a secret crawls out of the shadows and hits you in the chest like a freight train. I was about to find that out the hard way. Baby, let's leave the shelving for last. There's too much fragile stuff packed in there, Melanie called out, tapping the tall unit tucked into the corner of our tiny rented apartment. I nodded, brushing a dusty lock of hair out of my face, still reeling from the fact that after 3 long years of scraping by, we were finally moving into a home of our own. My grandmother had passed a few months back, God rest her soul, and left me her 2-bedroom condo. It wasn't fancy, but it was paid off and sat just on the edge of town. No more drowning in rent. No more nights calculating if we could afford groceries and the light bill. Every dollar could finally go into something that belonged to us. It was supposed to be a new chapter. That month was chaos. Melanie and I rotated shifts at work, picking up our 5-year-old son, Tyler, from preschool or sometimes dropping him at my mom's for a few hours. Dinner usually meant reheated leftovers eaten while navigating an obstacle course of cardboard boxes. Half our living room looked like a shipping warehouse, the other half resembled a crash site. Tyler treated the stacks like a soccer field, dribbling around boxes like he was in the World Cup. We let him. His laughter helped cut through the exhaustion. One Wednesday evening, while Melanie clattered pots and pans in the kitchen, I ducked into the hallway closet, the kind of closet where stuff goes to be forgotten. Snow boots, the old vacuum, my toolbox, Tyler's inflatable snowman. All of it crammed in together like some seasonal purgatory. I reached up to tug down a stack of dusty showboxes when something slipped free and floated to the floor like a paper feather. I blinked through the dust and picked it up. My brain, ever the dreamer, thought maybe I'd found a wad of Grandma's emergency cash stashed away. But the moment I slid the photos from the envelope, my stomach twisted. There were 6 or 7 glossy prints. Melanie, my wife, was in all of them. Her smile beaming in the sunlight beside a man I didn't recognize. One photo had them lounging shoulder to shoulder on a beach towel, laughing at something just outside the frame. Another had them kissing across a cafe table, the moment soft and intimate. I froze. There was no mistaking it. That wasn't a casual smile. It was the kind of look you give someone who owns a part of your soul. My heart pounding, I stormed down the hallway and into the kitchen. Melanie was over the stove, browning chicken, the room rich with the scent of garlic and rosemary. I dropped the photos on the counter. "What the hell is this?" I said, louder than I meant to. She turned, startled, wiping her hands on a dish towel, and picked up the photos with a confused squint. Then something in her face flickered. Recognition. "Oh wow," she muttered. "Where did these come from, Nate?" "You tell me," I snapped. She let out a nervous laugh. "These are ancient. Way before we met 7, 8 years ago, maybe. I completely forgot about them." I narrowed my eyes. Then why were they buried in the back of the closet? Hidden behind showboxes? She gave a little shrug, reaching for the pepper grinder like it was just another Wednesday. "They probably got stuck to the boxes. I must have packed them by mistake. Toss them. They don't mean anything." Before I could argue more, I heard Tyler's tiny voice from the living room. He'd heard me raise mine. I backed off, for the moment. Melanie reached over and placed her hand on my arm. "Nate, you're my husband. I'd never lie to you. Everyone's got a past. Let's not let some old pictures mess up our future." She kissed my cheek. Invited me to sit down for dinner. I almost ripped the photos apart right then, but something told me to hold on to them. Pride, maybe. Or that quiet voice that whispers, something's not right. Weeks passed. Work picked up. Projects, meetings, late nights. Tyler's bedtime stories got shorter, dinners were often takeout. But whenever I had a second to breathe, those photos haunted me, especially the one on the beach. The way her head tilted toward that man like he was her son. One Friday night, Melanie arranged a sleepover at my parents' for Tyler so we could finish setting up the condo. But I wasn't in the mood to argue over curtain rods again. I texted my best friend, Jake, and met him at our old hangout, Marley's Bar. 2 beers in, I pulled out the photos, now creased from being in my wallet. Jake leaned in under the bar light. "Dude," he said, "check for anything familiar, jewelry, Clothes, stuff you gave her. And then I saw it. In the beach photo, Melanie was wearing silver teardrop earrings. The ones I'd given her for our second anniversary. 2 years ago. My hands went cold. That trip she took to Portland, the one she claimed was a teaching workshop before going back to work, that was just over 2 years ago. I left the bar in a daze, headlights blurring as I drove home. Tyler was on the floor rolling his Hot Wheels. Melanie was in his room making his bed. I walked in and dropped the photos onto the mattress like a bomb. Still nothing you want to tell me? I said, jaw clenched. Melanie went pale. I already told you. Then explain how you're wearing the earrings I gave you 2 years ago in a photo you said is from before we met. Silence swallowed the room. Her voice cracked. It was, once. During the Portland trip. I swear it didn't mean anything. He's not part of my life. He never was. And then Tyler burst in, grabbed one of the photos, and pointed. Are we gonna see Uncle Alex again, Mommy? I felt the world tilt. Uncle Alex. She had a name. A connection. A history she had fed to our son like it was harmless. Go set up your track in the living room, bud. I'll come join you soon, I said softly, guiding him out. Then I closed the door. Pack a bag and go, I said, my voice quieter than I expected, but ice cold. Melanie's eyes flashed. I'm taking Tyler. I blocked the doorway. No. Unless you want to explain this to your parents. You know what that would do to their picture-perfect church family image. Her shoulders slumped. She nodded slowly, defeated. She packed quickly, pausing only to hug Tyler and promise him everything would be okay. Then she walked out, leaving the door open behind her and a decade of life in her wake. The divorce moved fast. Melanie didn't fight for custody. I guess she thought Alex would step up. Word got around he vanished 2 months later. Whatever fantasy they had crumbled under the weight of real life. She visits sometimes. Supervised. She looks thinner, her smile hollow. Her hands tremble when she buckles Tyler into his seat. She tries to be strong, but it's like watching someone drown quietly. Tyler and we found a new rhythm. Pancakes on Saturdays. Movie nights. Soccer in the park. When he asks when Mom's coming home, I tell him the truth he can handle. Mom loves you. But grown-ups don't always stay together. And that's okay. And slowly, peace crept back in. I repainted the walls. Replaced the carpet. Learned how to braid Tyler's hair for Crazy Hat Day. Love can break. But trust, it can grow back, too.